Welcome back to the Whistle Podcast. I am Murray Bell.
And I'm Casey Pechtel.
We got no juice box today. I don't know what he's doing. He's moving, I think.
He's moving from Truckee to Reno. So
Ah, he's busy.
I think it's a tough process for him.
I'm sure it is, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna go a little bit off the script today and just kind of shoot the shit.
All
So
right.
obviously, the World Series last night. The Rangers wrap it up. They get it done. Um, yeah, it was cool to see though. For that fan base having gone through what they've gone through, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
What do you think of the question I think that is interesting? If you had to guess which one of those two teams is more likely to be back there next year, who do you think it's going to be?
I think it's got to be the Rangers. I'd love to say the Diamondbacks, but without them making a major move, um, it's got to be them. And the Rangers, they made the most of their opportunities.
Mhm.
The Diamondbacks had runners in scoring position in the first 5 innings and didn't score. You can't do that in the playoffs,
Dude, it was
especially
crazy all night. Like they had opportunity after opportunity, which I think
it.
Diamondbacks fans is why it probably hurts a little bit, is because it looked like you had it.
And there's two of those games they should have won.
Yeah,
You
game
know,
one should have won. I
I
know
mean, a couple of them. The one
last
you were at,
night, game three,
game,
like they were there.
yeah, and I mean, the game last night was ridiculous. And then you get bases loaded, and so you just and what was it? It was I think it was Christian Walker in one of those innings.
Yep.
When they had a runner on third, or runner on first and third, no out, and he struck out
Yep.
on a fastball like down the middle.
You just got to get the ball into the outfield there,
Yeah, or that was with one out, and it's like you get a fastball, you need to at least put it in play.
right? Give yourself a chance. But yeah, it was that game three Monday. Super cool atmosphere, good vibes and stuff like that. Wish they could have won, but that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll switch over to football right away. Looking back at last week here, there's a few games I would like to talk about. The first is the San Francisco 49ers
Mm.
losing again to the Cincinnati Bengals, which I will say, I think we all kind of said that we thought that that was in play net last week when we were going through the picks and stuff like that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're a Niners fan, how worried are you right now with what's going on there? Because lost three straight. It's the first time you've seen struggles with Purdy.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm not terribly worried. I think they'll get back on track. I think they'll find their groove again. Obviously, it sucks to have such a hot start like that where your team looks just unbeatable, and then to go on a 3 game skid against. Um, I mean, yeah, they lost to some good teams, but I don't know. I think they'll get back on track and they'll find it for the rest
I
of the
think
year.
the bye week for them being this week is huge.
It's big. It's like a timeout in a
Right?
basketball
Exactly.
game. You're getting
Like
killed.
the
You
other
call a
team's going
timeout.
on a run right now. You call the timeout, you stop the momentum. Chase Young trade. What were your thoughts on that? Commanders. What is wrong with the Commanders?
I don't know. Montez Sweat and Chase Young both like they were good guys.
Right. Well, and if another on the Sweat trade, what are the Bears doing? Why are you trading for what? What do you like? You need your picks right now. What's Montez Sweat do?
That's what. And it was funny. I saw it was a little meme. The Bears when they traded a second for Montez Sweat, seeing the Niners trade a third for Chase Young.
Yeah. Right.
But it was also like a second round pick can get you some valuable stuff. I know Montez Sweat, or he was a first round pick
Oh
a little
yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
and he's been a good player in the NFL. But yeah, I don't know.
It's not that I feel like a second rounder was too much for Montez Sweat.
No, it's
It's that
different
the Bears did it.
if it's a couple years down the line and your rebuild's more successful and you're making a playoff push.
Exactly.
or your team is capable of making a run, like the Niners, it makes total sense.
Absolutely.
Um, or if a team like I don't know, what's a team like the Lions? I guess
Any team that's in playoff contention, I get it.
yeah, their defense is already pretty solid. But
But if
yeah,
you Bears, well,
the
that
Niners
trade
are
made no
Bears.
sense to me.
I agree.
What did you make of the Raiders kind of blowing ship?
Uh, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't surprise me. They were in a little bit of a dumpster fire over there. Their organization was in shambles. They traded for Devontae Adams because he wanted to play with Derek Carr,
And then
and
you
then they
trade Derek,
traded Derek Carr and signed Jimmy G, like that would fix things.
and
And
now
it
you're
just
benching Jimmy G for Aiden O'Connell.
it, right, and it was all very confusing. I think that they're foolish for not trading Devontae Adams.
I say the same thing. I've talked about this before. Teams that like half-ass the rebuild, it's
And
like
the Raiders have been doing that for years.
it's ridiculous. Like there is no reason to have Devonte Adams, Josh Jacobs, and Max Crosby on this team.
Yeah.
Trade those guys and get what you can get for it. Like you could get a first for Devonte Adams.
Yep.
You could get probably a first or a second for Max Crosby.
Hmm.
You could probably get a third for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Like trade those away and start your rebuild. One thing I will say is did you see their new coach's press conference?
No, wait. I didn't see if they is it an interim coach or did they?
Yeah, they promoted from inside. Uh
Is it a fully? He's the new head coach for sure.
mhm, mhm. I don't have his name in front of me, but he was a former NFL linebacker, and they were
Okay.
asking him about it. He grew up in Compton as a Raiders fan when they were in LA. Just a mean looking cat. And I'll tell you, he's either going to lead them to a successful rebuild or they're not winning another game the rest of the year. He's got
Really?
a Dan Campbell vibe to him.
Okay, I kind of like that vibe though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You see how well it's working for the Lions. Um, so it's very interesting to see. He seems like he'll kick someone's ass type deal, which I like to see. It's funny. Let's see what
Oh,
else.
so he's just their interim guy.
Yeah. He's not the long term solution or anything.
Gotcha. Okay.
Uh, I guess we'll move on over into this week.
They were
Um,
fools for not hiring Basacha,
it was that what how stupid. Everyone loved him. The players liked
right?
him. He was a great fit over there. Um, we got a lot of really good games this week, actually. A lot of
Yep.
good games. We'll start off with the Dolphins and the Chiefs in
Okay.
Germany. That's some bullshit that they're making that in Germany. Like cool for the
Oh, right. That's so dumb.
why should I have to get up at 6:30 to watch that game? I won't. I just won't.
The London game's cool, but now it's like the Germany game. Is there a Mexico game? It's like
Yeah. But at least
football's in
Mexico's
it.
the same time zone.
That's true. Yeah.
You got Dolphins, Chiefs. Chiefs -1.5. Who do you like there?
Chiefs -1.5. You take out this home field advantage. Chiefs with a shocking loss to the Broncos. That
A
was
terrible loss.
crazy. But I do think they're gonna bounce back and beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins they're tricky. Their record is 6-2. We've talked about this before. But how are they gonna do against the Chiefs? I think their offense will still do okay,
Mhm.
but I think their defense might struggle a little bit, and I don't think their offense can keep up with the Chiefs' offense in that game because the Chiefs' defense is it's no joke.
It's not
Pretty
shabby.
good.
I totally agree. I've been kind of banking on this whole the Dolphins are frauds. They've only played two good teams and they lost both of them. I agree with you there. I will as well take the Chiefs. Next, Cowboys Eagles in Philly. Philly -3. Who do you like here?
Philly,
Ah,
Philly for sure. The Cowboys are kind of weird. They're a team that can get like they can beat a top dog, but they could also get like blown out.
That you're absolutely right. For some reason, I don't know why, because I don't think the Cowboys are that good. I think they're gonna win this game.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cowboys. It just looking at like Philly and stuff like that, I feel like they have to lose like two more games this regular season. Just like there's no
Yeah,
way you're gonna only lose one game, right? And I don't know why this like I think the Eagles are a significantly better team than the Cowboys. But
yeah.
that's just to me, it's like, maybe this is one that they drop.
It's like when you look at the Niners schedule, it's like they have to lose a couple.
Yeah, right.
Because
Like
the
you got to
Bengals
lose a
are-
few games, and the Cowboys looked damn good last week against the Rams.
Yeah. Oh yeah. CD Lamb. Oh, I've been waiting for that game from him. Been waiting for it.
Yeah, Dak finally didn't have a terrible game, and they looked halfway decent.
Yeah.
And then Sunday night game, I can't believe that this game is on the schedule given what happened last year.
Right. Game of the week for sure.
Bills at Bengals. Bengals -2. Who you got?
Bengals.
Bengals easy.
You think are they gonna do like any little gimmicks before the game about all that stuff that happened last year?
I,
Or are they just gonna play football?
they should do a little something.
Yeah.
Little something.
Right? Just
Bring the
out of
Bengals.
respect.
Yeah. My question is, do you think he plays a snap in this game?
Um, that's a good question.
I think
Has he been playing snaps all year or
he's
no?
played a little bit. I think he asks to play, in my opinion. I think that being a football player, you got that competitive nature in you.
Yeah, I
Think
agree.
for him, you gotta, it's like defeating the demon. You gotta go out there and just even if it's for one play, if it's for
I
one,
agree.
you got to get back out there and do it for one play.
The yeah, I agree. They I don't know if you've seen the ambulances
Dude, it's
that
the craziest thing in the world.
when Damian Harris got ambulanced off the field
The
and he
DeMar
had the little bit of paralysis for a little bit in his neck. It was a scary injury. Glad he's all right. But yeah, they retired the DeMar Hamlin's number on the ambulance.
on the back of the
On the
ambulance.
back to the ambulance.
You had to have run that by him first, right? Like, how does
I
that?
don't dude, you think they did? Because
You think they just did that without
if
saying?
I'm a football player, it's like, look, obviously that's what he's going to be remembered for, but that's not what he wants to be remembered for. He wants to be remembered
No,
for being a good football player. Retiring your number on the back of the ambulance is wild.
no. I mean, that's the crazy. That was one of the. That was one of the craziest things I had seen.
Yeah, it's like what?
But I feel like they had to have run it by him. There's no way they just did that.
Yeah, I guess it's probably a image and likeness thing that you can't just use.
Yeah, right. You can't just throw DeMar's number on. Fuck, that was nuts. And then one more game I want to talk about. Monday night.
Another good game.
Chargers at Jets. The Chargers, it says it's 3.5 now. I bet this game at 3.
Hmm.
But the Chargers are favored here.
Yeah, it's the Jets are sneaky, frisky. I want to take the Chargers. I want to take the Jets. The Chargers are good. Their defense is somehow not. I never get it. They always have the names. They have
Right? Bosa.
Derwin James
Don't they
out
have
there.
Khalil Mack?
Khalil Mack.
Yeah. Like what's going on? They had
Yeah,
JC
Derwin
Jackson.
James is finally healthy. Um, Asante Samuel Jr. at cornerback. Like they got pretty decent guys. And they never end up being good.
No, it's Brandon Staley needs to be fired. But who you taking?
This is a hard
It is
pick.
a hard one.
I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
I did bet the Chargers at -3. I think the Jets are good, and I think the Jets defense is very good. But I think
I'll
the
tell
Chargers
you.
are going to score some points in this game, whether you like it or not. That's just how it's going to happen.
Mhm.
And I don't know if Zach Wilson can do it. Although I will say, what he did last week against the Giants, that shit was crazy.
It was awesome. It was
It
great to
was
see.
so cool. And for him, that's got to be a big confidence boost.
Oh yeah.
And I think I saw this today and I hadn't really thought about it, but I think all this talk about Aaron Rodgers maybe coming back is getting that team to play better. Because
Hmm.
if you knew he was out for the year, you're probably thinking, eh, we can't win a Super Bowl with Zach Wilson. But if you know all we have to do is get into the playoffs and this
Hmm.
cat might come back and then we can win a Super Bowl, I think it's getting them to play a little harder.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. I tell you what, if they make a move for Devontae Adams, I think they win this game.
I don't disagree.
I don't understand why the Raiders didn't.
Because the Raiders suck, dude. They're just a loser. That's why, like, being from Vegas, I want to like the Raiders. I want to
Hmm.
so bad, especially where the Patriots suck right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'd like to have a team that I can root for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah.
Incompetence on every level.
Yeah.
Is there
That's
any NFL storylines you would like to talk about?
NFL storylines that I would
Just
like to talk
anything in
about.
general in the NFL.
Um, hmm. I think AJ Brown's most consecutive 125-yard games ever is pretty cool.
I absolutely agree. Do you
It's
think,
kind of under. He's having a really non-talked about fantastic season.
right? Tyreek is getting all the wide receiver hype, but I'll tell you, AJ's numbers are right there with him.
Yeah, one, two, three, 6 games in a row with 125 yards is
That's
it's
crazy.
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, he's absolutely killing it, and no one's really like even talked about that, I guess.
The Eagles, I feel like in general, are kind of flying under the radar right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the NFC, even though they've lost three straight, the Niners have been getting the majority of the hype.
Yeah.
The Cowboys get talked about a lot, and it's crazy because this team was just in the Super Bowl last year, but
Right.
they're kind of flying under the radar, and I think that it's more likely than not they're back there this year.
How about Minnesota? What does Minnesota do?
Yeah, so that was the Kirk Cousins fiasco. I mean, you trade for Dobbs,
Mm-hmm.
which I love for Dobbs. I think that's sick because now he's getting a real chance. And
Yeah.
Arizona, I don't get that trade from the Cardinals' perspective.
No, they traded it what, like a fifth or something?
Yeah, and like,
Didn't they just trade for Dobbs already? Like,
yeah, and you think you would like want a young quarterback that's showing promise.
yeah. Doesn't Minnesota have the rookie from BYU on the team too?
I have no idea. I'm assuming whoever their backup is starting this week. There's no way Dobbs is going to be out there.
No, no.
If
And
you,
then
what do you think happens with Kirko?
I think he's done in Minnesota.
Where do you think he goes?
Um, I mean, the Commanders would have been a good pick before they sold everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Patriots are too bad, I think.
I don't want him.
The Saints just went for Derek Carr. That would be another team that
They could get, yeah, the Saints could use, and the Falcons maybe
the Bucks are kind of doing okay
with Baker.
Baker. Um, the Steelers, if they don't like Pickett, but I think they're gonna keep with him. And
I think because they're still he hasn't looked great, but they're still winning.
yeah, no, I'll tell you what,
The
I
Packers.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy with him.
Packers. The Packers could
Um,
use him. The Bears. There's a lot of
Bears.
teams that could use Kirk Cousins. I agree.
Well,
He's
the
done it.
Jets. If Rodgers is done after this
That's
year,
what I was gonna say. Is if you're Kirk Cousins, you call Aaron Rodgers. Yo, what are you doing to get your Achilles right?
yeah.
Because it's clearly working. The fear is Kirk Cousins is obviously a God fearing man, and I think Aaron Rodgers is doing some witchcraft. So I don't know if
I think I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers guy, but he is a fan of the witchcraft and wizardry out there.
yeah, he's a fan of the dark arts. So I wouldn't be shocked if there's some crazy shit going on. And Kirk Cousins, as a church going, God fearing man, I don't think he'd participate in that.
And the ashwagandha.
The it's not
Not
ashwagandha.
ashwagandha. The
It's not ashwagandha.
not ashwagandha.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. Uh, that's not what I meant there. Uh,
You got the sups on your mind right now.
the ayahuasca tea.
Yeah,
That's what,
it's I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is, but hey, it's working. He's throwing that ball already.
maybe he's sitting in a dark room.
And the maybe the Hat Man's helping.
Mm-hmm.
The Hat Man, we've always thought he was evil. What if he's secretly a healer?
Friend. Yeah.
He's a friend, not a foe.
Mm-mm. Um, Another thing I want to talk about was Will Levis.
Yes,
You got to ride him out the rest of the season, right?
100%. Because what like you're getting mediocrity out of Malik Willis and Tannehill. See what's up with Levis. I mean, God, if he's half as good as he was last game tonight,
Yeah.
you're fired up.
And he threw 4 touchdowns, and he didn't even throw the ball that many times.
No,
They were running, and
I
when he
need
got the chance to throw it,
need a
he
conquest.
showed off with that explosive arm, the deep balls, just finding guys open and getting them the ball.
Yeah, well, and it's good. Like you brought in D Hop, and I feel like he'd been underutilized this year.
Oh, 100%.
And then it takes this rookie to come and he's like, yeah, like this athletic freak generational talent that I have out at wide receiver. Maybe I'll throw him the ball a little bit. That might work. And yeah, well, you get a couple touchdowns out of it.
Yeah. But I thought, I mean, yeah, that it was a little overdue. Tannehill's 2-6 is his touchdown interception ratio this year,
Yeah,
which
Levis threw more touchdowns in that game than Tannehill had all season.
he doubled him.
Double them up. I mean, that's the Titans are such a weird team. The Titans and the Steelers in my head are like so similar.
Yeah, they're yeah, they are.
Just like I like both those, not necessarily like playing style, but like they're hard nosed teams. They're hard to beat. I like both those coaches a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight's game will be interesting. Who you got tonight?
I mean, what Pittsburgh's favored?
3-point favorite.
They're coming off that weird loss, where they were all complaining about the refs.
They lost last week.
They lost by like 10.
Yeah, to the Jaguars by 10.
But there was a weird call on one of the on a field goal kick, and they were really upset about that. But I think you lose by 10, you lose by 10.
Yeah, right. Well, and the Jaguars are a good team. Like,
Steelers. Who did the Titans play last week?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. I don't hate their secondary actually.
No.
They have Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell. They got good names out there.
I need big games from Pickens and Okonkwo.
I mean, I'm just gonna take Levis again. Until he proves me wrong, you might as well ride with him.
I teased the Titans up to +9. That felt like a good, nice number to me. I
Yeah.
feel like it'd be hard for Pittsburgh to kind of blow them out. So,
Oh, definitely.
switching over now, because we don't talk about this enough, in my opinion, on this podcast, because some people don't follow it. College football.
Oh yeah.
The first CFP rankings have come out. And I'll just go through the top 13 here, because these are the only teams that could make the playoffs. Ohio State at 1, Georgia at 2, Michigan 3, Florida State 4, Washington 5, Oregon 6, Texas 7, Alabama 8, Oklahoma 9, Ole Miss 10, Penn State 11, Missouri 12, and Louisville 13. Did you have any problems with the rankings?
Well, I was gonna say, how do they do that with Ohio State 1? How does that?
So I understand, because I think both Georgia and Michigan are better teams than Ohio State.
Me too.
But the resume right now to this point in time, Georgia's best win is Florida, I think, or Kentucky, who's not very good. Yeah, their only ranked win to this point in time is Kentucky, who's number 20.
Yeah.
Where and Michigan, I don't even think Michigan has a ranked win right now.
But their schedule's super backloaded.
Yeah, absolutely. They got a easy game against Purdue this week.
And then Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State.
Yeah, those are all three very tough games.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at Ohio State, Ohio State's got some wins. Ohio State, obviously they went into Notre Dame and won. They beat Purdue, or not Purdue, Penn State. So they have two top 15 wins.
Yeah.
One
What
of which
about
is on the road.
I was gonna say Washington. If they come out, because they're kind of like Michigan, where they had their tough game at Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
but now they play at USC, they play Utah at home, at Oregon State, and
Mm-hmm.
then Washington State at home. Like those aren't easy games either.
No, absolutely. Well, and then what's even worse for them is you presumably have Oregon again in the
Yeah.
Pac-12 title game. And if both of those teams are,
If they win out and
yeah,
Oregon wins the title
yeah, the
game, then
winner of that
Oregon's
goes to the
over them.
playoff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I was looking at it now, like kind of every team's playoff route. For Ohio State, it's simple. You got to win out.
Yeah.
Maybe you can afford losing the Big Ten title game, but you got to win the rest of your regular season.
hmm
Georgia,
Well,
what were you gonna say?
no, go keep going.
Georgia, I think you can lose one. I
Mm.
think somewhere you can lose one, whether it's in the regular season, which I don't really see happening. I mean, they play Ole Miss. Yeah, shit. Georgia's got a tough schedule. Missouri this week. Missouri's not bad. Ole Miss next week. Ole Miss isn't bad. Tennessee the week after. Tennessee's not bad.
hmm
But and then probably uh either Ole Miss or Alabama or LSU in the SEC title game.
Yeah.
Michigan got to win out. Got to beat. Again, you can maybe lose the Big Ten title game, but you got to win the rest of your regular season games.
Yeah.
Florida State is an interesting one because their schedule is kind of easy the rest of the way. They
For
got,
that, I was just gonna say Miami is is their toughest.
yeah, and it's at home though. I think at Florida could be tricky, but yeah,
Yeah.
both of those games, they'll be over a touchdown favorite in both of those.
Yeah.
But and then you're gonna get to the ACC title game
And
and
it's gonna be Louisville.
probably Louisville. I can't unless Louisville loses somewhere.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech this week. Virginia Tech sneaky good. Virginia the week after, they're garbage. And then at Miami, maybe they lose that game.
hmm
Washington and Oregon, we kind of talked about it. They got to win out and just win your title game.
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma, interesting because they're in similar situations where uh they're probably both going to win the rest of their games
Yeah.
and then meet again in the Big 12 title game. And the winner of that will more than likely go to the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, losing to Kansas is just so
Dude, so tough. I know Kansas
like
has gotten better, but fuck.
we almost beat Kansas at UNR. Like,
Two straight wins, baby.
hey, and one more this week.
We're favored this week.
I know we are.
Oklahoma, they got Oklahoma State this week on the road. That'll be a good game.
Mm.
And then for the rest of the team, Alabama, you got to win out. You can't lose another game.
hmm
Ole Miss, same thing. Penn State, same thing. Um, but so here's the scenario I want to talk. Say Michigan wins out and they go undefeated. They're in.
Yeah.
Say Georgia wins out and goes undefeated. They're in. So
hmm
those two are locks.
Yeah.
Then you have a one-loss Ohio State team. Say Oregon beats Washington in the
Okay.
Pac title game. So they both have one loss, having beaten each other. Say Florida State trips up somewhere and loses one game, but wins the ACC. Say they lose to Miami.
Yeah.
And then Texas beats Oklahoma. So you have one loss Ohio State, one loss Michigan, or not Michigan, Washington, Florida State, and Oregon. Two of those teams have to get in. Which two do you think get in?
Um. Ohio State.
Really?
Ah,
I think Texas and Oregon would get in.
you think Texas would?
If Texas wins out and they avenge their loss to Oklahoma, winning the Pac-12 or winning the Big 12 title, I do think Texas gets in there.
I think I was gonna say I think Oregon gets in,
Same thing. You win your conference and you beat the team that beat you.
and you think FSU's out with the Miami loss?
Yeah, I absolutely do because
It's too competitive right now.
it is. It's very, and we this happens every year where we talk about Florida State. Like their best win, they killed LSU, and LSU has looked better since then. But then they beat Clemson. Clemson kind of sucks.
Awful.
They beat Duke. Duke's okay, but it's not
Duke
their
lost
schedule.
to didn't Duke lose to Virginia?
No,
Or that
North
was
Carolina. That
UNC.
was North Carolina.
UNC lost to Virginia.
That
Yeah.
was a very bad loss.
Duke
Duke
lost.
not even is Duke not even ranked right now? Yeah, Duke's
They
not even in the top 25 right
they
now.
lost to somebody not very good too, though.
Yeah, they just lost. They just maybe Louisville. Yeah, Louisville just beat Duke 23-0.
Okay.
Uh so yeah, I mean there's still a lot that has to go through, but I so if you knowing what we know, we've kind of discussed it in length. What do you think the final four will be?
I think I don't think Florida State is gonna lose.
I agree the schedule's too easy.
So I think Ohio State is.
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, and then I think you either get Washington or Oregon.
Yeah, I think you're
Which
probably right. What do you do? What do you do if those three that we said go undefeated and then Texas beats Oklahoma and Oregon beats Washington? Which one of those do you Oregon over Texas there?
yeah, Oregon's played. I mean, if so, Oregon goes undefeated.
That's tough.
They've they've taken on. Um, I mean, they went in and beat Utah in Utah. They
Yeah,
would take on
they beat
USC at
Washington
home,
State. They got
Oregon
Oregon
State
State.
at home.
So,
They'd have a couple pretty big wins.
yeah, let's see what. But Texas beat Alabama in Alabama.
Yeah,
They got Kansas State this week.
and I might be a little biased saying Oregon too. I don't
No,
know.
that is so tough. I think where if those two teams, because then they've both lost a game and they both lost at the last minute. I mean, Oklahoma beat Texas at the wire. Obviously, Washington beat Oregon right at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That is the question because I agree. I think those three go undefeated. Michigan,
Oregon blew it. The
yeah,
field goal at the 4 yard line is. Oof.
yeah, it was a tough one. Interesting.
Yeah.
We got like 6 minutes left. Anything else you want to talk about?
Um. How about USC? They're kind of. They almost lost to Cal. That's kind of wild.
What do you think about the idea that Caleb Williams is reverse tanking?
Oh,
Being bad on purpose so he doesn't get drafted by the Bears.
but did he play that bad?
He
The
didn't
offense,
look great. They scored a shit ton of points. You're right. I
he
don't
put up.
think he is. It's just something I've been seeing, and it's an interesting theory. Why would he do that? He'll just go back to college if he wants to.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous, and it's also like you're losing out on a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, he says he can make more money in college next year than he could in the NFL.
That's what I heard. Yeah, Caleb Williams had 369 pass yards, 2 pass touchdowns, and 2 rush touchdowns.
Well, my question to him is sure, maybe that's true. Maybe you can make more money. You're going to the Big Ten next year. You're not playing these candy ass Pac 12 defenses anymore.
Which you're
Why
not.
that injury?
Their defense is gonna get destroyed.
Oh, they're gonna. USC will have to, and it's who's Lincoln Riley. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley. he's going to have to make major philosophy changes because they're going to play better defenses where their offense isn't going to be able to hang 50 points every day.
Yeah.
And your defense is going to you got to stop someone. It's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough. I got my gambling card for this week.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Let me find it. I sent it to here it is. All right, real quick here. Titans and Browns teased together. Titans and Bucks teased together. Bills and Seahawks teased together. Chiefs straight, Chargers straight. That is in the NFL. In college, Boise State and Washington State teased together. Kansas and Missouri teased together. Ole Miss, Nebraska, and Kentucky all straight. NC State and Wisconsin teased together. Arizona and Utah teased together. And UNLV and Rutgers teased together.
Mm.
I
I
also
like it.
I did something exciting last night. So I had when the Rangers and the Astros were tied 2-2 in their series, I placed a little bet on the Rangers to win the World Series because the number was good. So that cashed last night, obviously. I rolled it all over and I bet on 8 college basketball teams to win the national title.
What are the teams?
I'm finding it right here. It was all good teams. Just my thought process is I can't imagine one of them doesn't get to the Final Four.
Mm,
Purdue, Marquette, Creighton, Gonzaga, UConn, Tennessee, Arkansas.
nice.
Yeah, so college basketball right around the corner. It's a big deal for our Wolfpack. It's the one thing we're good at.
Wolfpack, they took a win the other night
They get the Hawaii win this week. Who do they finish out with?
in college football.
Yeah.
I know we have on the road at Colorado State and then Wyoming at home.
Yeah, we'll
Which
Utah State. Ooh.
here's what. Oh, and the Utah State on the road. We're saying we went out, and scratched a little bowl game.
If they win out, I will go to the bowl game.
That's what we said was if they went out, we're going.
If they win out, well, there's no way. I would
Yeah.
be ecstatic if they win. They should beat Hawaii. They should.
Mhm.
Hawaii's not good.
No.
If they can win one of those last 3 and get to 4 wins,
Yeah.
that's super exciting.
I want them to be Colorado State so bad.
The revenge factor.
The revenge factor. They ruined our program.
Absolutely demolished any chances of relevancy we had. But I'll tell you,
We were almost like ranked that.
we were
last year.
good. We were getting votes. We
almost beat Kansas State.
right. We had NFL products looking decent out there. Shout out Romeo. Like
still scoring, man. Yeah.
I'm starting him in a league this week.
I've been starting them all year.
That's crazy.
He's put up good numbers.
I just need him to get a touchdown.
I mean, that's what he's been doing is he's been scoring.
Do you think Taysom Hill? He's been scoring a lot. Do you start him this week?
No.
I think it matters who your other tight ends are. Someone asked me that. Coop.
That's what I have. Cole Kmet. I'm rolling him out.
Uh-huh.
After he just had like 10 targets last week. I play in a PPR league, so I gotta. Yeah. I'd rather go for the guy getting the targets than the guy banking on the touchdown. It's a little different if you play no PPR or half point. Then I'd go to.
I agree. All righty, we are out of time. Good stuff. We will see you all next week.
Next week with a full crew.
Yes, sir. All right.